deny, we journeyed deep into the snow-covered forests of North America, where an ancient terror is said to roam. A creature born of starvation and desperation, its name whispered in hushed tones around winter campfires. We're talking about the Wendigo. Welcome back to Tales from the Abyss. The story of the Wendigo begins not as a monster, but as a warning. Its roots are deeply embedded in the folklore of the Algonquian-speaking peoples, particularly the Ojibwe, Cree, and Nasqueam tribes. For them, the Wendigo wasn't just a scary story. It was a real and present danger, a manifestation of the harshest realities of life in the unforgiving northern wilderness. So, what exactly is a Wendigo? The descriptions vary, but they all paint a terrifying picture. It's often depicted as a gaunt, skeletal being, impossibly tall, with skin stretched tight over its bones, giving it an ashen, deathly appearance. Its eyes are sunk deep into their sockets, glowing with a malevolent light. Some tales give it long, sharp claws and teeth, while others describe it as having a heart made of solid ice. Its most defining characteristic, however, is its insatiable hunger for human flesh. The word Wendigo itself is thought to mean the evil spirit that devours mankind, or cannibal. This name gets right to the heart of the legend. The Wendigo represents the ultimate taboo, cannibalism. In the brutal winters of the Great Lakes region and the Central Plains of Canada, survival was a constant struggle. Famine was a very real threat. The Wendigo legend served as a powerful cultural deterrent against resorting to eating another human being, even in the most desperate of circumstances. It was a story that said, if you cross this line, you will become a monster, forever cursed to hunger. The transformation into a Wendigo could happen in a few ways. The most common belief was that a person who engaged in cannibalism would become one. The act itself was a spiritual corruption that twisted the body and soul. Another way was through possessions. A person weakened by greed or isolation could be taken over by a Wendigo spirit, slowly losing their humanity and becoming a vessel for its unending hunger. It's this psychological aspect that makes the legend so chilling. It's not just a monster you fight, it's a monster you could become. This fear led to a phenomenon known as Wendigo psychosis, a term later coined by native psychiatrists. It was a culture-bound syndrome, where an individual would develop an intense craving for human flesh and a fear that they were turning into a Wendigo. They would become withdrawn, violent, and filled with a deep, melancholic depression. Often, these individuals would ask to be executed before they could harm their family. Whether this was a genuine psychological condition or a manifestation of deep-seated cultural beliefs is still debated. But it shows how powerfully the Wendigo myth influenced people's minds. So how did this ancient tribal legend transform into the pop culture monster we know today? The shift began in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, as European settlers and writers started documenting and reinterpreting these indigenous stories. One of the most influential works was Algernon Blackwood's 1910 novella, The Wendigo. Blackwood's story took the core elements of the legend, but filtered them through a Western, Gothic horror lens. His Wendigo was more of an elemental spirit of the wilderness, a vast and terrifying presence that could snatch people up into the sky, leaving them insane and with mangled feet. He emphasized the psychological terror and the sheer alien nature of the creature. moving it away from its specific cultural roots in cannibalism. This version of the Wendigo, the monstrous beast of the forest, captured the public imagination. It started appearing in pulp magazines, comic books, and eventually movies and television shows. Stephen King's novel Pet Sematary features a character who tells the story of the Wendigo, associating it with a cursed burial ground that reanimates the dead. This further cemented the Wendigo's place in modern horror. Today, you can find the Wendigo everywhere. It's a terrifying monster in the TV show Supernaturals, a playable character in video games, and a popular subject for countless creepypastas and online horror stories. This modern interpretation often takes on a more physical, bestial form. The deer skull or antlered head, for example, is a very recent addition to the creature's appearance. It has no basis in the original Algonquian legends, but has become an incredibly popular and visually striking image in contemporary art and media. It merges the human-like form with an animalistic, pagan-looking horror, creating something new and uniquely terrifying for a modern audience. But in this transformation, something important is often lost. The original Wendigo was more than just a monster. It was a complex symbol of human greed, excess, and the breakdown of communities. It was a cautionary tale about losing one's humanity in the face of hardship. The Algonquian stories taught that selfishness and gluttony, not just in terms of food, but in all things, could lead one down the path of the Wendigo. It was a metaphor for the destructive nature of endless consumption, a message that feels more relevant than ever in our modern world. When we strip away the cultural context, we risk turning a meaningful legend into a generic monster. The Wendigo isn't just a spooky creature to be hunted down by paranormal investigators. It's a story deeply tied to the history, spirituality, and survival of the people who first told it. It speaks to a profound understanding of human psychology and the delicate balance required to maintain a healthy community. So, the next time you hear a strange sound in the woods or see a story about a deer-skulled monster, remember its origins. Remember the starving hunter, the winter's chill, and the moral weight of a story designed to keep humanity intact. The Wendigo is a powerful reminder that the greatest monsters are often the ones that live inside us, born from our own fears and desires. It's a tale of what happens when hunger for food, for power, for more is allowed to consume us completely. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the dark heart of the forest. If you enjoyed this dive into the abyss, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next tale. Let us know in the comments what legend you want us to explore next. Until then, stay curious.